Yes, now we are going to discuss Shimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Shimamanda Ngozi Adichie's story, The Thing Around Your Neck. Thing Around Your Neck, written by the Nigerian writer Shimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Adichie is very famous for writing about black and white struggle. She always appears for black people living in Nigeria. But here she writes about what happened to a Nigerian girl who comes to America in order to find jobs. Now everyone likes to migrate to America. You thought everybody in America had a car and a gun. Now in America, gun is a toy item. In pavement also one can buy a gun. Your uncles and aunts and cousins thought so too. Right after you won the American visa lottery, America gives that green card lottery. One here wins. They told you in a month you will have a big car, soon a big house, but don't buy a gun like those Americans. One Nigerian girl won American visa lottery, and what everybody told so. So that is what everyone thinks about America. The picture that lives about America in their minds. After 1 month, can buy a big car, big house. But you don't know, in America, some people sleep inside cars, vehicles. They are why apartments are very expensive. They trooped into the room in Lagos, where you lived with your father and mother. After that, they trooped into the room in Lagos, where you lived with your father and mother. Lagos in Nigeria. And 3 siblings, leaning against the unpainted walls, their poverty, because there weren't enough chairs to go around, to say goodbye in loud voices and tell you with lowered voices that they wanted to send them. That means the Nigerian people gather around her. That means here there's a girl, protagonist is a girl who wants a lottery ticket. They also want her to send them some money. In comparison to the big car and house and possibly gun, the things they wanted were minor handbags, shoes and perfumes and clothes. They also wanted handbags, shoes, perfumes and clothes. You said, okay, no problem. They ask when you go to America, send us handbags, perfumes. But here, life of America is unknown. Your uncle in America, she has an uncle in America who had put in the names of your all family members for the American visa lottery. One uncle sent to America because of winning a visa lottery. This uncle is not a relative, not blood kin. One relative married one. You could live with him until you got on your feet. People say you can live in uncle's house until you got on your feet. He picked you up at the airport and bought you a big hot dog, hot dog bun with yellow mustard that nauseated you. Introduction to America, he said with a laugh. He lived in a small white town in Maine, in a 30-year-old house by a lake. He told you that the company he worked for had offered him a few thousand more than the average salary plus stock options because they were desperately trying to look diverse. They included the photo of him in every brochure, even those that had nothing to do with his unit. He laughed and said the job was good, was worth living in an all-white town, even though his wife had to drive an hour to find a hair salon that did black hair. The trick was to understand America, to know that America was give and take. America is a country to give and take. You gave up a lot, but you gained a lot too. If you gave up a lot, you can gain a lot. He showed you how to apply for a cashier job in the gas station on Main Street, and he enrolled you in a community college where the girls had thick thighs and wore bright red nail polish and self-tanner that made them look orange. They asked where you learned to speak English and if you had real houses back in Africa and if you had seen a car before you came to America. They gawped at your hair. Does it stand up or fall down when you take out the braids? Braids mean braids of hair. They wanted to know. All of it stands up. How? Why? Do you use a comb? You smiled tightly when they asked those questions. Your uncle told you to expect it, a mixture of ignorance and arrogance, he called it. Then he told you how the neighbors said a few months after he moved into this house that the squirrels had started to disappear. They had heard that Africans ate all kinds of wild animals. Now, Nigeria is an African country, you know. They moved to one area, that area squirrels disappeared. And people began telling that African needs all kinds of animals. That means even squirrels. You laughed with your uncle and you felt at home in his house. His wife called you Nwene, sister. And his two school-age children called you auntie. They spoke Igbo. That's a Nigerian language, Igbo. And ate gari for lunch, their food. And it was like home. Until your uncle came into a cramped basement where you slept with old boxes and cartoons and pulled you forcefully to him, squeezing your buttocks moaning. So that uncle, now what happened to girl? She lives with uncle. This girl slept on the basement, ground floor. After that, uncle came to abuse the girl. He wasn't really your uncle. He actually a brother of your father's sister's husband. He's a brother of your father's sister's husband. Father's sister means aunts, her husband's relative. Therefore, there are no direct relationship, blood relationship. Not related by blood. Right. After you pushed him away, he sat on your bed. It was his house. After all, and smiled, said you are no longer a child at 22. If you let him, he would do many things for you. Smart women did it all the time. In American life, we say, if she liked to, if she agreed uncle's wishes, she would get so many things. That's the way of America. Smart women did it all the time. How did you think those women back home in Lagos with well-paying job made it? Even women in New York City. That is how outside girls, when coming to America, earn money. You locked himself in the bathroom until he went back upstairs. and the next morning you left to walk in the long, windy road, smelling the baby fish in the lake. You saw him drive fast. He had always dropped you off at Main Street and he didn't honk. Honk means sound the horn. You wondered what he would tell his wife, why you had left. And you remembered what he said, that America was give and take. At the beginning he tells America means give and take. Such things are not uh, new things to America. But she didn't know it. You ended up in Connecticut. It is an area in another little town because it was the last stop of the Greyhound bus to go on. There's a bus halt. You walked to the restaurant with the bright, clean awning and said you would work for $2 less than the other waiters. The manager, Juan, had inky black hair and smiled to show a gold tooth. He said he had never had a Nigerian employee, but all immigrants work hard. He knew he had been there. He would pay you $1 less, but under the table. He didn't like the taxes they were making him pay. Right? Start like this. Now, actually, he says it is difficult to go to America and find jobs and live. Even close relatives, they don't help. They help if the girls agree with the ideas. Yes, right like this. Shimamanda Goshi Adichie. I repeat the spelling Chimamanda Shimamanda Goshi Ngozi Goshi Adichie. In writing her short story, The Thing Around Your Neck. The Thing Around Your Neck speaks about the real life story about an American girl about a Nigerian girl, migrating to America after winning the American visa lottery. Yes. Nigeria is an African country and the majority is black, so that the writer speaks about what happens to such a dark girl migrating to America in search of better opportunities. In search of better opportunities. Yes. Life.
Migrate into America කියන දෙනින්ද පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න පුළුවන්ද?
Migrate into America in search of better opportunities. In search of better opportunities. හරි. ලබන සතියේ ඉස්සරහට නිවාඩුනේ.
නෑ සර්.
නැද්ද? ඔයාලා රාමසාංග වලට දැන් මොකද නිවාඩු වෙනව නේද?
ඒ නිවාඩුව අපිට හම්බෙන්නේ නෑ සර්.
නැද්ද? Yes. Right. Migrate into America. Migrate into America and finding job opportunities there are the common hopes of people of other countries as they believe that they will be able to earn lots of cash by working there. That is why people apply for green cards that America issues once in a while for the foreigners. Yes. Full stop. At the beginning of the story, the writer shows how foreigners create dreams about affluent affluent life in America. Affluent life in America. Yes. At the beginning, at the opening of the story, the narrator tells that in America, everyone had a car and a gun. Yes. Yes. It is true that guns are available in the open market there, resembling resembling um, toys, right? Therefore, when the writer mentions gun, we understand that the writer speaks about the violent behavior of America. Yes. The writer wants to say that the way
සර් පොඩ්ඩක් හිමීට කියන්නකෝ.
the writer wants to say that the way that the foreigners think about America is not the reality, and that is just an assumption. That is just an assumption. Yes. Foreigners think that in a month one can have a big car and a big house, big car and a big house. Yes, full stop. One can buy also a gun if one wants. If one wants. Yes. The writer wants to show that these dreams about America are non-realistic, and the reality is otherwise. Reality is otherwise. Yes. The protagonist of the story, is such a Nigerian girl who is about to migrate to America after winning a visa lottery ticket. Yes. Now actually now Sri Lankan also that them winning a green card means it's a great thing. Yes. It is true that for outsiders, winning such a lottery ticket is a great victory, as everyone wishes better life there. Yes. According to the narrator, this girl's relatives trooped into her room in Lagos, where she lived with father, mother and three siblings. father, mother, and 3 siblings. Yes. Her household is described as a poor setting, described as a poor place, with unpainted walls and there are no enough chairs for visitors to sit. Yes. That means she has so many hopes about her future success that she wants to illumine illumine the future of her siblings and to build a house Now she goes to America with these hopes then. But what happened? Quickly, her relative uncle comes to abuse her. That is the practice of America. At the beginning he says, America means give and take. Then one can become prosperous. Otherwise, there is no humanity, human health. Such things are not there. Yes. Her kith and kin, Kith and kin, Kin. Her kith and kin visiting her house do not merely want to wish her, but they also want her to send them minor gifts like handbags, shoes, perfumes, and clothes. Now these are also general hopes. They think that they go to foreign countries and earn a lot of money, exhaust in cash. Yes. Those who go there know that how hard they have to work. The writer here becomes sarcastic, about the general behavior of people, that they also want something from their loved ones, who go abroad. Yes. They think that in America, one can earn exhausting, EXHAUST, and exhausting cash. Yes. New para. Then we find the writer describing sexual corruption in America through the behavior of one of her relative uncles living in America with his family. Now this girl is not hesitant to go there. Why? Uncle is there. Uncle and his family is there. Therefore, she doesn't want to hesitate about a job, accommodation. Yes. As we are told, that uncle is sorry, this girl's father's sister's husband's brother, so that there is no blood relationship between the girl and that uncle. Right. She does not want to hesitate about a job and accommodation in America since that uncle is living there. That uncle is living there. Yes. The writer describes how that uncle arrives in airport, in order to pick up her and how she is given a hint about American life there. He says yes. We also read that he also migrated to America with a lottery ticket, visa lottery winning, and she will be safe there. Until she can get on her feet. Yes. Then we read that uncle picked her, picked her up at the airport and bought her a big hot dog with yellow mustard that nauseated her. Nauseated. Nauseated. Nauseated her. Yes. This is the very first introduction to her about America and she resented it at the first instance. At the first instance, mean muladi, at the first instance. She didn't like it. That hot dog. Hot dog is a type of bun, you know. Yes, because she is not familiar, but she has to become familiar with that if she lives in it, right? Though she does not like that hot dog at the beginning, she will have to like it. She will have to like it if she lives there, if they live there any longer, if she lives there any longer. Yes. Next, the writer gives us some background about that uncle, saying that he lived in a small white town, in Maine, M capital, Maine, Maine, in a 30-year-old house by a lake. Yes. As we read, he told the girl that the company he worked for had offered him he told her that the company he worked for had offered him a few thousand more than the average salary plus stock options because they were desperately trying to look diverse. Yes. Thus, full stop. Thus, he wanted to create a pleasurable picture about America to create hopes within this girl. Yes. He also tells her that she should know that America was give and take. Yes. If she gives up a lot, she gains, GINS, gains a lot too. Right. Full stop. We come to know that this uncle did not help the girl out of humanity, but also he had secret, inhuman desires about herself. Yes. The narrator says that he showed the girl how to apply for a cashier job in the gas station on Main Street, and he enrolled the girl in a community college. Yes, full stop. We are also given the idea that in that community college, there were other African girls with thick thighs, 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 wearing bright red nail polish, and self-tanner, Tanner, tanner, that made them look orange. Yes. In this manner, this uncle showed a lot of human friendliness to her, to build her confidence towards him, builds a confidence towards him. Yes. However, the other girls in the college also became sarcastic towards her poverty, that they knew that she came to America after winning a visa lottery ticket. And that is why they asked where you learned to speak English, and if you had a real house back in Africa, and if you had seen a car before you came to America. Yes. They asked her where she learned to speak English and if she had real houses in Africa and if she had seen car before she came to America. Yes. Yes. That means those girls treated her as a very poor African girl migrating to America, poor African girl migrating to America in order to find a job. They also smiled about hair. That means they have braided hair, African hair is braided, or curly is braided hair. Yes. Next we find those American girls smiling her, braided, B-R-A-I-D-D, braided hair, asking that she uses a comb, C-O-M-B, comb. Do you use a comb? Yes. Yes. According to her uncle, she should expect a mixture of ignorance and arrogance. Ignorance and arrogance. Yes. That uncle also said that his neighbors, his American neighbors, told him that after himself moving, M-O-V-I-N-G, moving into a new house, that the squirrels, SQUIRREL, squirrels in the area started to disappear because they had heard that Africans ate all kinds of wild animals, Now, telling such things in the face, this area, squirrels disappeared after your arrival because Africans eat all kinds of animals. Yes, yes. Mm, right. Demini, can you read? Did you write the note?
Yes, sir.
Please read up to now.
Chemananda Nagosi Adichie, in writing her short story The Thing Around Your Neck, speaks about the real life story about a Nigerian girl migrating to America after winning the American visa lottery. Nigeria is an African country and the majority is black, so that the writer speaks about what happens to such a dark girl migrating to America in search of better opportunities. Migrating to America and finding job opportunities. There are the common hopes of people of other countries, as they believe that they will be able to earn a lots of cash by working there. That is why people apply for green cards that America issues once a while for the foreigners. At the beginning of the story, the writer shows how foreigners create dreams about affluent life in America. At the opening of the story, the narrator tells that in America everyone had a car and a gun. It is proof that guns are available in the open market. They are resembling toys. Therefore, when the writer mentions gun, we understand the writer speaks that the violent behavior of America. Uh, they want to say that the way the foreigners think about America is not the reality, and that is just an assumption. Foreigners think that in a month one can have a big car and a big house. One can buy also a gun if one wants. The writer wants to show that these dreams about America are non-realistic and the reality is otherwise. The protagonist of the story is such a Nigerian girl who is about to migrate to America after winning a visa lottery ticket. It is true that for outsiders, winning such a lottery ticket is a great victory, as everyone wishes better life there. According to the narrator, this girl's relatives proved into her home in Laos, where she lives with father, mother, and three siblings. Her household is described as a poor place with unpainted walls, and there are no enough chairs for visitors to sit. That means she has so many hopes about her future success that she won't uh, illumine the future of her siblings and to build a house. Her kid and kin visiting her house do not merely want to wish her, but they also want her to send them minor gifts like handbags, shoes, perfumes, and clothes. The writer here becomes sarcastic about the general behavior of people that they also want something from their loved ones who go abroad. They think that in America one can earn exhausting cash. Then we find the writer describing sexual corruption in America through the behavior of one of her relative uncle living in America with his family. As we are told that uncle is the girl's father, sister's husband's brother, so that there is no blood relationship between the girl and that uncle. She does not want to hesitate about a job and accommodation in America since that uncle is living there. The writer describes how that uncle arrives in airport in order to pick up her and how she is given a hint about American life there. We also read that he also migrated to America with a visa lottery, meaning and she will be safe there until she can get on her feet. Then we read that uncle picked up her at the airport and got a big hot dog with yellow mustard that noised her. This is the very first introduction to her about America, and she resented it at the first instance. Though she does not like that hot dog at the beginning, she will have to like it if she lives there any longer. Next, the writer gives us some background about that uncle, saying that he lived in a small white town in Maine in a 30-year-old houses by a lake. As we read, he told the girl that the company he works for had offered him a few thousand more than the average salary plus stock options because they were desperately trying to look
All right.
diverse.
Okay. Please stop. I want 15 minutes because I had to go out and come back. මම මේක pause කරලා තියෙන විනාඩි මේ after 15 minutes I will call you back. Okay? Yes, you laughed with your uncle and you felt at home in his house. His wife called you one sister, and his two children called you auntie. They spoke Igbo and ate gari for lunch, and it was like home, right? Mm, right, like this. Then the narrator describes the girl's existence at his uncle's house till she became familiar with everybody. It is after herself becoming friendly with all, her uncle tried to abuse her. Yes. As we read, that uncle came into the crammed, cramped basement where she slept with old boxes and cartoons, and she and he pulled her forcefully to him squeezing 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 her buttocks buttocks till she morning morning. Yes. Here the writer shows how the members of the same sorry family corporation become opportunist. Yes, this girl came to his place for protection, but he works to abuse the girl. Yes, the narrator tells that he smiled and told the girl that she was no longer a child at 22. Yes. The most satirical part here is that the narrator saying that if the girl let him, he would do many things for her, and smart women did it all the time. Yes. The writer wants to tell that Nigerian women who come to America should be ready to offer her body in exchange of more and more cash value, and if she rejects that, she cannot be rich. As the narrator says, many women returning to Lagos with well-paying jobs also did the same. If living in America, if want more money, girls should be ready for that subject. You locked yourself in the bathroom until he went back upstairs, and the next morning you left, walking the long, windy road, smelling the... Yes, baby, yes. Next, the narrator describes how she left her uncle's home and walking along the road. Yes, she has to remember what her uncle said, that America was give and take. However, she found a little job for $2 a day in a restaurant in which manager was called Juan. In which manager was called Juan. Yes. Anyway, she was the very first Nigerian woman working there but all other immigrants also worked hard.
Sir,
What? He was the very first Nigerian woman to work there, and many immigrants, but all immigrants worked hard. Yes. It is from this point, this girl had to start her life in America facing everything alone, without any assistance from anyone. Right. අද වෙච්ච ඩිලේ එක පොඩ්ඩක් අමතක කරන්න. මම මේ සතිය මැද්දේ කොහොමද ඔයාලට මේ දිගටම දැන් විභාගද?
අපිට විභාගේ සර්.
ඔව්. අනිත් එක්කනට දෙමිනිට
මාත් ඉස්කෝලේ යනවා.
යනවනේ. හවස්වරු කොහොමද එන්නේ? ඉස්කෝලේ පහෙන් පස්සේ පුළුවන් නේද?
හා සර්.
හෙට රෑ ක්ලාස්ද? 7ට වගේ?
හෙට බෑ සර්.
බෑනේ. අඟහරුවාදා පහමාර
සිකුරාදා පුළුවන් සර්.
සිකුරාද මට බැහැ සර්.
සිකුරාද වාට බෑ නේද? හරි කවන්නේ මේක මේ එහෙමනොත් අපි දවන සතියේ ටික රැ වෙනන් හරි කරමු ඈ.
හරි සර්.
හරි නතර මම නවත්තනවා. good night.
good night
Good
sir.
night. Thank you sir.
එතන මතක තියාගන්න තැන හරි.